kind of like other stuff to use a ball, okay?
You've been recording? You know, I read Viv Richards' book, and I read what it meant for him to tour England and score 100 at Lord's. What it, you know, the way he describes it in his book about how he used to listen as a young boy on radio about the test matches between England and the West Indies, and how he was looking forward to one day walking out at Lord's. So as a youngster, when you've read that, you know, and you see what it meant to somebody, an iconic player as Viv Richards, you just want to have the opportunity. You know, the balcony, I've seen, you know, the South African flag on the balcony with previous tours of the Proteas touring there, and obviously being successful there, the guys doing the champagne on the balcony. All these images like is in your mind, and you're just thinking to yourself, it would be a great opportunity one day to walk out there.
I think playing in England, there's not too many tours that people would rather choose over an England tour, especially a test tour. You know, obviously you get to play at the home of cricket, Lord's, and everything that's about England, the traditions, the travel, really gears up for a memorable trip.
So Lord's the venue today, and at the moment it's looking absolutely wonderful. Bedecked in sunshine, perfect conditions for the start of a test match, perfect conditions for the start of a series, a four-match series between England and South Africa.
Well, Lord's just such a special occasion. I know a lot goes without saying. You know, everything they do is a little bit more over the top. You know, you obviously get dropped off there in the morning and you walk past the champagne gardens and they're setting up the picnic blankets. Then you've got sort of a gin bar around the corner and the members are lining up trying to rush in to get their seats in the long room. Everybody's sort of dressed really smartly, and it's almost like a day at the races in terms of cricket. The net facilities are awesome. I mean, the lunches, not too many stadiums or facilities or venues you go there and they're serving prawns as a starter. So I think that's sort of the lure of Lord's. You know, really special place, and I'd missed out on it the tour before, quite a few years before that, where I came back from a back injury, didn't get selected for the Lord's Test, was 12th man. You know, I always knew that if I got the chance to go back there, I'd definitely soak up the atmosphere and really put in a good showing. Yeah, I think the big hype about that series was our fast bowlers. You know, Morne Morkel, Dale Steyn, Mackay and Tini, you know, bowling 145 plus, and it was going to be a battle of the speed. And then Kevin Peterson got a good 150, and Ian Bell batted beautifully for 199.
Ball gone, what a catch. No batsman has been dismissed for 199 until now. And he's declared. There's a move from Michael Vaughan. A brilliant effort from Ian Bell.
I remember coming into that series, as I did a few times in my career, thinking I need some runs. We come off tour in India where it was a tough tour for myself. And you know, one thing I always knew as a batsman, you know, I didn't need any reporters or media or anybody to start talking about when I needed runs. I knew exactly when I needed to score. And walking out at Lord's, 3 down pretty early on, I think.
Ashwell Prince, the next man in the firing line for South Africa, who are 47 for 3 and trailing by 546.
And Jimmy come running in from the commentary box end, from the spaceship, and I just, because it's England and the game is kind of played different everywhere around the world. England is a pitch the ball up, kind of get him on the front foot, nick him off, LBW. That's the game in England. I mean, it sounds cliched, but you know, you don't expect a lot of short pitch bowling. So it's like, you know, it's going to swing, it's Jimmy Anderson, it's going to swing, get forward, get your front pad out the way, and just make sure you get a good position. You know, and obviously, I mean, it's like get forward, and then the first ball is slightly back of a length, probably not a forward ball, and I've lunged forward to make sure that I'm, you know, I'm strong and I'm covering it, and it actually caught the shoulder of the bat, flew over over the slip cordon.
Oh, he's got away with it. First ball flies through the slips cordon.
So I survived the first ball. Could have been it could have been literally could have been a first ball duck. AB and I maybe put on close to 50 or 60 or whatever, and then he came down the wicket, tried to be positive. I mean, he's always played his game positive. And Jimmy takes a good catch at mid-off or mid-on, I think, not just behind me.
Big shot down the ground. Oh, what a catch!
I think myself and AB got 2 40s. I remember coming into the change room and Smithy having a little chat to AB, and it's you've thrown another one away. You know, your team needed you. You're too good for that in terms of that innings. I think he played I'm not exactly sure of what shot he played, but you know, with brilliance and flair, you do get the odd oopsie, and you know, it was just a good solid chat.
I remember trying to put the foot down a bit because we were losing wickets. And I think I must have been in the 70s. You know, with Harrow there, and then Dale and Morris, they've seen me to hundreds before in Test cricket. So you got confidence in them, but you also know it could be 2 balls and it's all over. You know, it can. I mean, Monty Panesar was bowling quite well. I think he got 3 or 4 wickets in the first innings. He got 4 in the first innings. So he was bowling quite well. And then I took a few risks against him. I remember pulling out reverse sweep.
Reverse sweep.
I hit that for 4, and then I hit the slog sweep for 6.
Prince goes for an even bigger shot. Swipes it away over mid-wicket. All the way for 6.
Michael Vaughan was at slip, and he was commenting, you know, obviously he's not trusting the tail enders. And then it's like, okay, you are running out of partners here, but you can kind of try and manage the situation, and you have a chance, you know. You have a chance, and you might never ever get the chance again. The chance to get 100 at Lords. They got a new ball, and Ryan Sidebottom, he kind of swung one. I think I hit it through mid-wicket.
That's his 100. Played well. Terrific effort.
And yeah, I mean, that was it. I remember it quite clearly. Running the first one towards the spaceship, and then coming back for the second, and then the ball crossed the line, and obviously running towards your teammates on the balcony, all the Proteas, all your teammates standing on the balcony, trying to squeeze in, because only about 6 or 7 people can fit in that balcony. You raise your bat and take off your helmet, and you're celebrating, you know, towards the balcony, your teammates. And then, I mean, throughout the innings, you kind of spotted where your family are sitting, and all our wives are sitting in a suite to the side, and you kind of, you know, celebrating with your family. And it's an unbelievable moment, you know, unbelievable moment that you will never forget. And then at the end of the day, you're obviously in the dressing room celebrating. Immediately they come in, they put a piece of plaster, just like a normal piece of plaster, you know, but just with a marker pen, a Prince, and your score, whatever the case may be, and then that's the next name to go on the board, and that's quite a cool feeling, you know.
That's gone straight to mid-off. Sidebottom gets under it and takes the catch.
Yep. The nod has come from Vaughan to Smith. You bat again, light permitting.
In my superstitions, I thought I'd curtailed them a little bit, but anyway, we had about 10-15 minutes to bat out of day 3, and myself and Smithy were padding up, and anyway, I looked at a pad, and obviously sponsored by Gunn and Moore, and I looked at the O before I put my left pad on, put my right pad on. I just didn't feel like I wanted to get naught that evening, so I decided to re-pad up, looking at the double O's as 100 rather than the 1 O as a naught. Boucher, who's I've played a lot of cricket with over the years, and he said, I'll see you at dinner, and obviously faced a couple of overs, got in. You know, not too much sleep that night.
And getting up the next day, I remember thinking, when I open these curtains, I want to see sunshine. That was the one thing, because batting at Lords is also very much about overhead conditions. Good wicket, the minute clouds roll in and stuff, the ball starts nipping around and doing stuff. So I remember thinking to myself, okay, now I've gone hard at the guys, in 08. Our performances our decision making was bad. Our performances weren't up to standard. And now I needed to really I knew I needed to lead from the front that day.
It's the start of the fourth day, and we could not have had better weather. The South African openers, well, what a task ahead of them. They're all of 333 runs behind still, and the 2 days ahead.
And the way Graham led, it was, who says we can't bat 2 days? Who says we have to, if you've got 400s in a row, you won't get 500s in a row? So it was a lot of positive and grab the opportunities.
I remember, again, having that determined feeling, that focus, and doing it with Neil Mack, and the two of us really putting on a long partnership. And I always felt that if we could get a partnership up front, that things would settle down. And we managed to do that.
The last ball safely negotiated, and a slow session comes to an end with South Africa's opening partnership undefeated. They've got through to 67 for none.
Bouchy said to me, I'll see you at lunch, and he saw me at lunch, and then I think the superstition must have rubbed off on him, because every time I was going out to bat, he'd tell me he was seeing me at the next session. So I'll see you at tea. And then tea became that night, that dinner, and then the next morning became lunch again. It was just sort of, you get onto a little bit of a roll, a little bit of a momentum, a sort of shift, and the belief definitely starts creeping in. It's easier to block out a draw when you've got a few runs. So it was sort of quite tough. I remember staying on 15 for ages. And, I was quite comfortable, but I think quite a few balls, quite a few overs went by. There's obviously a lot of chit-chat around with with the England side. And just ran down to Monty Panesar, hit one over the top.
Oh, it's just past mid-on. Finally, the pressure is released by McKenzie down the pitch and trying to hit Panesar over the top, 55 for none.
And sort of looked back, Smithy gave me a little look. I looked at the change room, and you could see Boucher's little body language. They weren't too happy with the stroke that I'd played, but I felt I needed just to impose myself just once. And that was the only real shot that I think I played, which was a little bit of danger, a little bit of going against that game plan. But I felt it just sort of got me into a phase where he started watching my feet and suddenly changed him off his line and length. Smithy, he got 100.
It's gone very fine. And that will bring up his 100, and what a fine knock that has been.
Fantastic knock by Graham Smith. Cometh the hour, cometh the man.
That was a very different 100 to the two doubles I got in 03. There was more sort of grinding, trying to save a game, very different emotions out in the middle and feelings, and almost just trying to grind England down.
I remember he played a iffy shot, playing a hook, got a little top edge.
This is up in the air. And it's taken. And they've got the breakthrough, England. Yeah, this could be a very interesting hour safe play.
And then there was that period of rebuilding. Hashim came in and he really got peppered.
Oh, just out of reach.
Superb over from James Anderson, really working over Amla.
There was a lot of short balls, and true to Hashim's style, it didn't look great with the short stuff, but that's his mental toughness. He just got through it. They bowled him a bad ball, he'd hit you for 4.
Well played.
Excellent shot for Amla. Worked over by Anderson. And he gets a half volley and he puts it away with some style.
And I was blocking the other end, wanting them to bounce me so I could have a few scoring opportunities. And I wasn't getting that, and they were really going hard at Hashim. And, it just shows that mental toughness. I think it would have been one of his memory bank ones that he put there that, fought through a tough period and prevailed.
It's away, gets through. Is that it? Amla wants 3. He gets 4 and he gets 100 at Lord's. Well played, Hashim Amla. A brilliant innings.
My sister's husband at the time was watching with my family, and he's a water polo player. He doesn't know what it's like to get to 90, and apparently they had to kick him out of the stadium to go to the gin bar and get some beers, because he kept on asking, sort of, when's he going to get 100? He's batting well. And my dad, being a cricketer, my mum like, no, Mike, you don't talk like that around the cricketers. And he was like, why not? He should be getting 100 soon. When should I bring the beers back? So eventually they kicked him out.
Now then, gets 1, gets 2, but no more. It takes him to 99.
It was a special day for me. It was my dad's 60th birthday. So they were sitting in the stands with my sister, my brother, obviously my wife and my newly born Luke. So I had the whole family there. So it was a big occasion to do something.
Of green and yellow on that South African balcony. All gathered there now. Nail-biting time. Wants the run. Amla will have to hurry. He's through, and Neil McKenzie has a Test match 100 at Lord's. Well played.
Long, patient, professional. It was just what his team needed. In the background, enjoying the moment. Enjoying the moment.
My firstborn was, I think he was 6 months old. You know, some memories are coming back. He was 6 months old, you know, and I was up in the middle of the night doing bottle duties, because she'd been up half of the night as well. And she's like, this situation works for us, because you can always go 100 at Lord's when you've been up all night. So this situation is working for us. And Neil Mac actually also, I think his firstborn was also like a month apart or whatever. And he must have been going through the same thing, and he also scored 100 in the second innings.
I remember doing something different with my bat that I'd never ever done before, because I wasn't a jumper, I wasn't a punch the air type of guy, and I just sort of did this funny thing with this bat where I just like had a little turn on it. I thought, gee, that's something different. Turned around, and my parents were, and my wife was in the right stand, and my parents were right behind me, so I made sure I acknowledged them. But knew the job wasn't over, but really excited. And you know, when you see that sort of enthusiasm and that sort of hard work that's gone into your performance, and then seeing the sort of joy that it brought your teammates, and the sort of the importance that was placed on it, they really made it feel really, really special.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I'm very fortunate that I've been able to get on that Lord's board in that Test match for the second time. You know every player wanted to be there. I mean, it's just so documented. And even now when I go back to Lord's, you see all the South African names on there. And in that Test match, 4 of us getting up. Then it's always so nice, because they put white tape down and they write your name and your score on there, before it gets engraved. So you get a chance to experience what it's like to have your name on the board while the Test match is going on. And it's really good times to look back and see so many South African players having done well at Lord's.
Lucky they don't put the ball's face next to your name there, because then one would be looking and saying that must be one of the most boring innings we've ever watched. So just really special. And that's the team spirit and the team culture that was in the side. As I got in there, the names were sort of mask taped up. It gave you your runs, and that was the support staff and the players, and just celebrated that sort of little milestone. But I think we celebrated that sort of saved Test match like a win.
The match has been drawn. Both sides will go up to Headingley with a lot of confidence. England's bowlers will be tired. South Africa's batsmen will be in top form.
Second innings, another 3 pieces of plaster going up. Smith again with McKenzie and Amla. We save the Test match, and we're good to go.